Hi everyone, I just wanted to upload a quick video to show you how to relic some guitar parts, and obviously what you see in front of me are some neck plates and some screws. Simply what you're going to need, you'll need one of these Ziploc containers or any container full of water. You'll need some wet dry sandpaper. This is what I use here, 3M Auto, in various grits depending on what effect I'm trying to achieve. So you can see that was the 1000 grit. This is a 400 grit. I believe that's the 1000, and 320 is very coarse. You'd have to be very cautious with this paper. Also, what you'll need, this solution here. It's by Jack's. It's called Iron Steel Nickel Blackener. Try to focus in on that a bit better. There it is. Okay. And this stuff works extremely well. To finish things, what I do is use Minwax paste finishing wax, and I'll show you how that works towards the end of the process. And finally, a container like this with the Jack's solution inside. Okay, so here we go. Okay, the first step is you take your wet dry paper. You need to get it wet. Now, what I've done in the past is drop the plate right in there. You got to think of, okay, how do you want this to look? Do you want, sideways kind of markings, vertical markings, swirl type markings? And so what I start to do, I usually do it in the water, but I'll pull it out this time, is I'll take this paper and I'll start going very smoothly in a vertical fashion. And we have 3 layers on this plate. We have steel, and sorry, just kind of being careful how far down I go. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're taking off a little bit of the gold plating or the chrome plating to expose the nickel below. And so I will continue this, and I will go down to 400 grit just to make some deeper marks. And I do this around the logo, around the screw holes, the edge of the plate, and I'm exposing again the nickel. Being cautious of the direction of my lines. Okay. Now I do want kind of cross pattern, so what I'm going to do now with the same paper is to start going directly across. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that plate's scuffed up. I'm going to rinse it. I'm going to dry it. And I will show you the blackening process next. Okay, here's a look at the plate just prior to going into the blackening solution. You can see some areas that are silver. That's actually nickel, and that nickel will blacken, it will darken. And when I drop the plate in, you'll see that it almost looks like the whole plate's gone black, and then you rub off the excess. So here we go. Okay, so there's our solution. We're going to put the plate in. You want it to completely cover plate, and we're going to let this sit for a bit. You can see at the top of the plate it's starting to blacken, and the more I swirl this around, you can see the edge now starting to blacken. Starting to blacken around the custom shop logo. We'll check back in just a bit. Okay, this has been about a minute and a half. You can see some of the cross lines are slowly starting to darken. We've got a nice aged look around the logo itself, and of course those edges where I focused and pressed a little bit harder are starting to really blacken. And it's quite easy to rub the black off and gives a nice dull patina. Okay, so kind of tricky to do this with one hand, but I'm going to remove the plate from the solution at this point. Okay, I've just pulled the plate out. You can see what it looks like before I've taken a paper towel to it. So it's wet. The Jack solution is still taking effect. What I'm going to do now is grab some paper towel and I'm going to start to rub off some of that Jack solution. And instantly you can see right on this paper towel that some of the dark black is coming off. Now I'm just being gentle with it. Obviously the cracks, or rather the scratch marks that I've created, some of it's coming out, and you don't want it to be black, but you know, you just go based on sight, and no two plates are going to be the same. Okay, so I'll take a closer look. Now this is very zoomed in. What I'm looking at through the camera, it looks much darker than you know, in real life. Anyways, I'm quite pleased with that right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is go on to look at how you darken the screw heads. Okay, so these screw heads, Phillips oval head, 1 3/4 inch length screws, brand new, as you can see. Now, you could put the brand new screws in an aged plate, and it has a nice look, but I think what gives you know, the overall finish, that aged relic appearance, is to age the screw heads as well. So simply what you're going to do, get them wet, scuff them up. Okay, so similar idea. You want to get down to that nickel. Rinse. And we want all 4 of these to roughly have the same aged appearance. So I do them all at the same time. Trying to get a nice, even amount of wear on the top of the head. So the edges are important, top, but not too much. And the final. This wet dry paper is fantastic for this kind of stuff. Now some of the relic plates I just scuff up with the paper itself, depending on what the customer wants, and they're quite pleased with that. Okay, so let's take a close-up at this. So as you can see, the bright gold finish has been worn off, and it's more of you know, a silver. That's right down to the chrome. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to drop the heads in. And a little tricky here. I want these to be aged roughly the same amount of time. Okay, so we're going to put these right back in. You can see already it's very limited time. Keep checking on them. Not too particular. Keep checking. Okay, 3 look about the same. That last one needs just a little bit more. And it's okay to go back and, you know, rub a little bit. Put that one back in. It's right on that bottom part there. I think that looks pretty good. So we're just going to let those sit and let the solution continue to work for just a minute. Okay? Okay, so similar fashion with the plate. You just want to lightly take off some of the excess. Okay, very nice. Almost a blued look to it. Obviously you don't want this to come off in your clothing. Okay, now we're ready for the final step. Okay, the final step involves bringing a little bit of shine back to the plate and sealing in the blackened heads of the screws and the blackened parts of the plate. You know, that's not coming off, okay? That's permanent now, but I do want to bring the plate back up to have a bit of a shine. So this is where we bring in the Minwax paste finishing wax. I don't know of any other person that does this, but what I'm going to do is take an ample amount of wax and I'm going to put it right on the plate. This is going to fill into all of those little scratches we did. Now what I do is I do the exact same thing on top of the screw heads. A liberal amount of wax. I'm going to let that wax sit for a couple of minutes. It seems to harden with the air. Sometimes, you know, the wax is going to get into the screw hole and on the edges, and maybe I'll put a little extra, or even use the screw to pull some of that out. So let's just let that sit for a bit. Okay, final part, we're just about done here. So you're going to take a clean paper towel. The wax has hardened somewhat on the screw heads, on the plate itself. And what you're going to do now is you're going to go in one direction and really start to buff the plate. Okay, and there we have it, the finished product. We have 5 plates with varying degrees of aged finishes. Very happy with this technique, and just to show you the screw heads, it's out of focus here. Show you the screw heads here. Really nice look if you're looking for that aged guitar part. So again, make sure the plating process is over nickel, and you shouldn't have any issues. Okay, thank you very much. You can contact me at customshopdesigned@gmail.com or visit my website at customshopdesigned.com. Thank you so much.